Hey, family, welcome back to God of the Broken. We know that you have choices. We're happy when you come here and even happier when you find reasons to stay. I'm Hugh and I'm here with my wife, Michelle. And today's episode is for anyone who has ever looked at their life and thought, God, did I mess this up? Did I miss my moment? Can you still use me after everything I've been through? This one's called Not the Same Person, when God finds you in the desert. And by the time we finish today, you're going to know this truth deep in your bones. God still calls the one who ran away.
We're in Exodus chapters 2 through 4 tonight, and I want to slow down and really walk through this story because sometimes we rush past the pain that shaped the person. You see, Moses wasn't always the prophet parting seas and receiving commandments. He started as a man with a broken identity. He was raised in Pharaoh's palace, but born a Hebrew slave. He didn't fully belong to either world, and one day, all of that inner conflict boiled over. Let me read you this moment starting in Exodus 2:11 through 15. One day, after Moses had grown up, he went out to where his own people were and watched them at their hard labor. He saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew, one of his own people. Looking this way and that, and seeing no one, he killed the Egyptian and hid him in the sand. The next day, he went out and saw two Hebrews fighting. He asked the one in the wrong, "Why are you hitting your fellow Hebrew?" The man said, "Who made you ruler and judge over us? Are you thinking of killing me as you killed the Egyptian?" Then Moses was afraid and thought, "What I did must have become known." When Pharaoh heard of this, he tried to kill Moses, but Moses fled from Pharaoh and went to live in Midian, where he sat down by a well. That's a whole fall from royal identity to wanted fugitive. Let's break this down.
Well, what hits me is how fast it all fell apart, Michelle. Moses had a sense of justice. He wanted to do right. We're like that sometimes, want to do right.
Yeah.
But he acted in his own strength, not covering.
Right. He had no covering over him.
No covering whatsoever. And guess what? It cost him.
It did.
And notice when he's rebuked the next day, it wasn't by an enemy, actually.
No.
It was from one of his own people.
Yeah, babe. And that cuts even deeper. So sometimes it's not the enemy's attack that sends you into hiding. It's the shame of being misunderstood by the very people you were trying to help. And so Moses runs, right? But not just physically, emotionally and spiritually. He goes to Midian, marries, has kids, 10 sheep, and for 40 years he lives quietly. That brings us to Exodus chapter 3. Moses is out tending the flock of his father-in-law, Jethro. He leads the sheep to Horeb, the mountain of God, and that's where something divine happens. Here's what the text says in Exodus 3:2. There, the angel of the Lord appeared to him in flames of fire from within a bush. Moses saw that the bush was on fire. It did not burn up. And then in verse 5, God says, "Do not come any closer. Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground." This is huge because Moses is in the middle of the wilderness. He probably smells like sheep. There's no temple, there's no priest, and no incense. But God tells him, this is holy. Why? Because when God shows up, wherever it is, it makes the ordinary sacred.
Now, that right there is a word for somebody tonight, Michelle.
It is.
You have been in a dry place. You think nothing good can come from where you are.
Right.
But God's saying, take off your shoes. I'm standing in this moment for you, my child. Where you are right now, friends, may feel like the middle of nowhere, like you're in the middle of the Grand Canyon. But guess what? God calls it holy ground. Now, here's what's wild. After all this, Moses still resists. In Exodus chapter 3 and verse 11, he says, "Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt?" And in chapter 4, verse 1, he says, "What if they do not believe me or listen to me and say, the Lord did not appear to you?"
Right.
And in verse 10 says, "Pardon your servant, Lord. I have never been eloquent. I am slow of speech and tongue." Friends, he's full of fear,
Full of it.
full of self-doubt.
Yep.
And God doesn't give him a motivational speech. Right? Didn't give him a motivational speech.
No.
He gives him a promise.
Yes, he did.
He said in Exodus chapter 3 and verse 12, he said, what did God say? "I will be
I'll
with
be with you.
That's the same thing God told Jeremiah in chapter 1. Jeremiah says, "I'm too young." We all say something like that when we're asked to do something.
Yeah.
"Oh, I can't do it. I'm too this, I'm too that." But God replies, "Do not say I'm too young, for I am with you and will rescue you." And in Acts chapter 9, friends, when God calls Saul, who later becomes Paul, he says to Ananias, "Go, this man is my chosen instrument."
Yep.
God specializes in using the ones who think they have been disqualified.
It's always the disqualified ones. So Moses finally agrees to go, right? And don't miss this. He's not the same man who left Egypt.
Right.
He's more cautious now. He's much more humble. And that's what makes him usable. You see, sometimes God doesn't need your boldness. He needs your dependence. Dependence on him. He doesn't call the polished. He doesn't call the postured.
Amen. So if you have been running, if you have been hiding, if the shame is louder than your faith, hear us today, friends. The good news is God still knows your name.
He knows.
God still has your assignment.
Yep.
And God still speaks from fire.
Yes, he does. So you're not too broken. You are not too late. You are not too far gone. The wilderness was never meant to bury you. It was meant to burn off what's not yours to carry anymore. And God didn't leave you behind. He's been waiting for your yes.
Yes, yes, indeed. So yes, friends, you are all...
We're not too broken.
We're not too broken, right? Not too far gone.
Yep.
Our God would never leave us behind.
No.
He will catch us when we fall,
Yes.
friends. So, while you meditate on what you have just heard, let's listen to this song about a God who will catch us when we fall. Listen to this beautiful music.
I've been broken, put me together. When I was stranded, you gave me shelter. When I was lost, you found me and you wrapped me up into your arms. Oh, when I see a rock, you see a diamond. When I think it's too late, you see perfect timing. You're king of this whole world, creator of all. You know every single mistake. You catch me when I fall. To you I praise, worship forever. You saved my soul, love me on measure. You take our sickness and hopelessness, show the light and lead the way. of this whole world, creator of all. You know every single mistake. You catch me when I fall. Oh, you catch me when I Oh, when I see a rock, you see a diamond. When I think it's too late, you see perfect timing. You're king of this whole world, creator of all. You know every single mistake. You catch me when I fall.
Amen. So that beautiful song was When I Fall by Renee Myers. Michelle, can you pray for the one who's afraid to say yes again?
I sure can. Father, thank you for meeting us in the wilderness, for calling us after the failure. Lord, thank you for still choosing us after we've gone quiet. I pray for every listener who has been running from their calling, who has buried the fire beneath fear, regret, or shame.
Feels like faith is